Dan Kuntz, wake you up in the morning. Dan Kuntz, wondering why you're snoring. Dan Kuntz, show's fun, not boring. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
I just knew she was going to play that. Oh, hi. How are you? That's the alternative opening credits to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We have two of those. The other one is me dancing. Neither one of them are particularly good. Hopefully the show will be better than the opening segment. How are you? It is Friday, the 14th day of August, 2020. I am Dan Kuntz, and boy, is it going to start feeling like August starting tomorrow. Not so hot today. It's going to be warm, but it's not going to be excessively warm, but it's going to get downright hot. In fact, for a lot of people, dangerously hot, especially if you don't have air conditioning. We're in for a stretch of weather. The hottest stretch of weather of the year is coming up. This high pressure ridge is just a monster. It's over the southern Nevada area. It's spinning clockwise like high pressure does, and it's taking all of this super hot desert air from Nevada and Arizona. Arizona hit like 114 degrees yesterday. It's taking all that hot air and shoving it right on up to us, and it's just going to sit there for quite some time. Get ready for the heat. We got a very warm weather forecast coming your way. We have a lot of news to come your way as well. We'll take a look at sports. The Mariners didn't play yesterday, so they had a great day. Also, a strange story at a Seahawks training camp. Seahawks are down one player. Apparently, according to sources, this particular player tried to dress a girl in some Seahawks gear and pass her off as a Seahawks player to get her past security and get her into the team's hotel. He's no longer with the team, I might add. We'll also have an opinion from Mike McNaughty, Today in History, and the Obscure Holiday, and some celebrity birthdays. And in the back half of the hour, a couple of days ago, Megan and I had a chance to pop on down to the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and I had a chance to visit with Dawn Davies, the executive director of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Like all other organizations, nonprofit or what have you, they're going through changes because of COVID-19. They're still doing their job, and they're doing it well, but Dawn's going to catch us up with what's going on with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Still got pets for adoption, just things have changed a little bit. So we thought we'd check in with Dawn, and we'll do that in the back half of the program. 3 minutes after the hour, clear skies, 55 degrees. Here we go. Sunshine, bountiful sunshine. Again, it's going to be warm today. We'll be in the lower 90s. We hit, what did we hit yesterday? 81 yesterday, which was a couple of degrees below what they thought. But of course, they were off to a cool start, and we're off to a cool start again this morning at 55 degrees. Our normal high is 87, so we were quite a bit below normal. We'll be a little bit above normal today, and then near triple digits Saturday, and certainly triple digits Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Gonna be hot. We have an excessive heat watch that starts on Sunday morning. You know it's going to get hot when they have the excessive heat watch starting in the morning hours. That's how warm it's going to be. And it's going to be for everybody. Even the Puget Sound area is looking at possible record highs on Sunday and Monday. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. Good to see you. Camera 2, where are we off to, Megan? That's the Omi Gardens camera. Beautiful view there of Rocky Reach Dam. Not too many spill gates are open now anymore. The Columbia River is going to be beckoning some people, I think, over the weekend. It's still cold. The water's cold. You got to remember that, and it can be a real shock to the system. You're out and about, and you're hot, and you're sweaty, and you feel like you need to cool off and cool off quickly, and you can get in trouble real quick if you don't know what you're doing. But my guess is the Columbia River and Lake Chelan will be busier than normal, and it's usually busy in the summertime anyway. Get that bug out of there. I want to swat it or something. Good morning to our friends just to the north of us. Camera number 3. Hello to, let me think here. Rude Canyon, Megan? Yay, up to the plateau we go. Hi, Rude Canyon. And even up in the, when you get up, even in the upper elevations, like we're there with Rude Canyon in the Waterville area, you're not going to escape the heat. There's going to be no escaping from the heat. It's going to be hot for everybody. I hope you have air conditioning. Whew. I feel really sorry for like dogs who already have a coat on anyway, and livestock. It's going to be miserable for them. Hope they can get through the upcoming heat wave. Good morning to our friends up at the top of Rude Canyon. And camera number 4. Well, hello, Billy Goat. How you doing? Looks a little tad hazy up in the Billy Goat area. That's zoomed in quite a bit, so maybe it is exaggerating the amount of haze up in the Okanagan area. Pateros is at the bottom of your screen, and of course the Methow flowing into the Columbia. Brewster is pretty much right smack dab in the middle of your screen. Bridgeport is tucked behind that ridge there. Can't quite make out the Gamble Sands golf course. Ooh, look at the bird. That's cool. Of course, the Billy Goat camera is, as you might imagine, way up there, elevation-wise. And I wonder if that haze is from some of the wildfires. Well, they got the wildfire burning in the Nespelem area, but I'm told that some of that haze and some of the kind of the dirty air up there could very well be from forest fires burning in, of all places, Siberia. That's what I was told. Anyway, good morning to our friends up in the Okanagan County area. It is 6 minutes after the hour. A couple of slides to show to you. Hot temperatures are on the way. Look at good old Wenatchee. I think we're in kind of that pinkish color there. So look at where you live. And as you can see, to the triple digits we go. Certainly for 3 days. Could even have 4 days of triple digits. Really depends on how quickly we climb up that ladder on Saturday, because the overnight lows now are going to be in the 60s. In fact, we're going to have overnight lows in the 70s in the early part of next week. So hot temperatures are on the way, and when you have very hot temperatures for an extended period of time, the National Weather Service issues an excessive heat watch, and that's what we have. It starts at 11 a.m. Sunday morning. It goes through Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. It could very well be extended. There's going to be some locations in eastern Washington that will see temperatures 106, 107. Everybody's going to be at least well into the mid-90s, upper 90s for many other locations. Again, this is a rapidly building ridge of high pressure that's going to be extremely well entrenched all over the western United States. Everybody is going to get hot. We're going to cool down a little bit by the middle of next week, but I hope you have air conditioning, and I hope it works, because it's going to get a real workout for about 3. And it's going to be one of those heat waves where the air conditioning doesn't really turn itself off, and it'll be on really into the overnight hours. By the way, I didn't mention this. I'll do this now. Sunrise this morning, 5:57. Sunset tonight, 8:13. 14 hours and 16 minutes of daylight. Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug. Here's your forecast. 92 today. It's going to feel comfortable considering what's coming our way with that dangerously hot conditions. 58 for the overnight low tonight. Then we get up to near triple digits, right around 99, 98, 99, our forecast high on Saturday. So again, outdoor plans for the weekend, get it done in the morning before the heat really starts coming our way. 61 for the overnight low on Saturday night. Sunday morning at 11 is when that excessive heat watch begins. They may extend that. They may make it come a little bit earlier too with this ridge of high pressure. Look at that. 105, 105, 102, hot. Gradually cooling down on Wednesday and Thursday. And those overnight lows on Sunday night and Monday night could very well be in the 70s. Any way you look at it, it's just plain going to be hot. And those could be record-breaking temperatures, by the way. Those high temperatures on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday could very well set records. Our records are right around 101, 102. So we're looking at record-breaking temperatures for at least a couple of days, maybe even 3 days. Don't say we didn't warn you. And don't forget, your car, if it's not in a garage or in a carport, can get incredibly hot in a very short period of time. Remember that. 9 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have your Friday morning headlines. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Pybus Public Market's motto is where community meets. Whether it's people, enjoying an event, or they meet a colleague for coffee and whip out their laptop and are able to actually do work here, having quick and reliable Wi-Fi is one of the things that makes Pybus such a great community hub. It just contributes to the welcoming place that we want Pybus to be. I'm Allie, and fiber keeps people connected, and that's what Pybus Market is all about.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
61 degrees outside of our studios, lower 90s today, upper 90s. Our high temperature on Saturday afternoon, triple digits for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. It's going to be, well, it's a dangerous heat wave coming our way. So try and stay cool. Here are your headlines. After a day of searching, Moses Lake police arrested a Quincy man Wednesday afternoon suspected of keeping a human body in a bag in his room. Martin Diaz is 30 years old. He was arrested behind the Big Five sporting goods store in Moses Lake in the 900 block of North Stratford Road. He had been sought since late Tuesday. That's when police were summoned to his family's Quincy home, where they found a large bag with human remains stored in the room where Diaz slept. The identity of those remains, by the way, still under investigation. Diaz was booked into the Grant County Jail on charges of first-degree murder. He's being held on a $1.5 million bail. A fire that claimed an East Wenatchee home on Wednesday night appears to have started in a parked truck and camper. Douglas County Fire District Number 2 Chief Cam Phillips says when his crews arrived, they found the vehicle and camper fully ablaze and the fire spreading through the home's roof vents and into the attic. The roof of the single-story home ultimately collapsed, and the house and the belongings inside are believed to be a total loss. Fortunately, the home's occupants and their 3 pets were able to escape without any injury. Phillips says the camper and pickup were relatively new and were parked within 5 feet of the residence. The cause of that fire is under investigation. A temporary change in schedule is coming next week for the Wenatchee Heights Road Improvement Project. Chelan County's contractor on that project are going to be working a night shift from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until midnight from Monday, August 17th through Friday, August 21st. The temporary schedule change is so Selland Construction can install 6 culverts across the roadway while avoiding peak traffic times on that road. Crews will return to a daytime schedule starting Monday, August 24th. The roadway in the work zone is 1 lane with pilot cars leading motorists through the work area. Flaggers are on site. The speed limit is reduced to 25 miles an hour. In the evening, additional safety lighting will be used. The 1-week temporary change in schedule, by the way, should reduce the overall construction timeline. Today marks the first day that letters and other mail originating in the Wenatchee Valley will be processed in Spokane. It's part of a wide-scale change on how the U.S. Postal Service handles your mail under new directives from the Trump administration. Directors of the Seattle Postal District told mail carriers last month that mail sent from Wenatchee, Yakima, and Tacoma will be handled out of either Seattle or Spokane, and dedicated sorting machines in Wenatchee are due to be removed today. The Union of Postal Workers says the changes will lead to slower delivery of letters and other documents. Officially, the postal directors blame the decisions on low mail volumes. Most people who contact or contract COVID-19 survive the disease, but many survivors struggle with long-term health issues. Megan Barton of Tenasket hopes to outrun those complications. She happens to be the public information officer for Mid-Valley Hospital in Omak, and she described her illness in a widely read Facebook post, and she spoke to our very own Jefferson Robbins about her road to recovery.
My name is Megan Barton, and I'm 36 years old, and I live in Tenasket, Washington, and I'm the executive assistant of Mid-Valley Hospital in Omak. On Monday the 20th was really when I recognized I had the ability to check off 10 boxes of the COVID symptoms. I didn't never really establish a full fever, but I was having sweats and chills that were uncontrollable. And it didn't happen just randomly. It was all the time. It was like having a really bad flu. The cough continued to be a dry cough. it never became really productive ever. I felt like I had an elephant on my chest. I couldn't get air in and I could barely get air out. Just to get up from my bed and walk to the restroom was excruciating because I couldn't breathe just to make those few steps over. I didn't realize it, but I had no appetite, none whatsoever. I didn't even know I had lost my sense of taste or my sense of smell. And it wasn't until a day or two later, my husband had come down the stairs to bring me food, that I realized I couldn't taste anything and I couldn't smell anything. I don't know if you remember what growing pains feel like, but they're not comfortable. And it felt like I had growing pains all over again at 36 years old.
One of the things that you mentioned in your Facebook story that I think might be most alarming to some people is that you experienced a seizure. Is that right?
Yes. And I've never had seizures before in my life. And that was Friday of the week that I had become very markedly ill. And I was home alone. My husband had to go, I can't remember what he did, but he had to go somewhere. But he was on his way home, and I had a piece of pizza that was left for me in my little refrigerator. And so I was heating it up and eating it, and I started into a coughing fit. And then that seizure happened. And, I really wanted to tell myself, this isn't really happening. This isn't what it is. But my entire upper body started to spasm really bad. My hands were clenched, arms were clenched. No air was coming in or out. And I really felt like I was in danger.
I can tell you that I was very concerned about Megan because I could hear the progression of her symptoms. And as we talk, that's one of the important aspects of our job at public health and why we like to check in on people. It's amazing to me how we can have two people the same age and have totally different symptoms. Some people, like Megan and I were talking one day, I know someone her age who had a little tickle in their throat. That was it. They felt fine, no fatigue, no cough, no fever, anything. And that's the unknown about this virus, is how it's going to affect you, the individual.
I really want to encourage others who have gotten COVID, whether they are asymptomatic and they got a test and found out that they have it, but I want everybody to feel empowered to share their stories. I think more people need to hear them.
Fascinating stuff indeed, and that's what's making headlines on this Friday morning. We will have a Friday afternoon, or evening if you will, newscast with Grant Olson in the anchor chair. You can check it out at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, or watch it on your smart device. Right around 5 o'clock, we'll have it up and running on our website with a preview of tonight's news. Here's Grant.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, another hugely popular Wenatchee Valley event is the latest victim of the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll tell you about it. Warmer today and Saturday, and then a major heat wave is headed our way. I'll have all the details in your North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will be in with a look at the weekend baseball series between the Mariners and the Astros. That and more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope you'll join us then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. If you have a news tip, you want to drop us a line, we invite you to do so. Take a look at the bottom of your screen. That's the different ways you can get a hold of us. You can pick up the phone and call us at the number that you see there. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. You can drop us a line via our Facebook page using the Facebook Messenger app, or go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and click on the Contact Us icon at the top of the screen. When we come back, we'll talk Seahawks and Mariners. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
20 minutes after the hour on this Friday, let's talk about sports as the Seahawks begin day 3 of on-field workouts during training camp in Renton. A player has been fired from the team. You can't make this stuff up. According to the NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, free agent rookie cornerback Kima Silverand was cut from the team when he was caught reportedly trying to sneak a woman into the team's hotel. Pelissero says Silverand attempted to dress a female companion like a Seahawks player in an attempt to get her past security and into his room. The whole thing caught on tape. Seahawks fired him for putting the team at risk of a coronavirus outlook. Meanwhile, on the field, Russell Wilson met with reporters prior to Tuesday's workout. He says he's excited to have Dwayne Brown back in the fold and Mike Uipati back on the left side of the line. Is interested to watch the rest of the battle for the rest of the roster spots. Wilson admits it'll be tough, though, without center Justin Britt.
You know, obviously the loss of Britt, not having Britt this season is definitely different for me personally, but, you know, done it before, and I know Britt was a great player for us, and so gonna miss my guy there. But, you know, BJ and Ethan are both ready to play. They'll be sharp as nails, you know, as you can imagine. And then fast forward, you think about, you know, the guard position. You know, when I saw D. Lou get picked, I had seen him on film before because I studied some of the, you know, other receivers that they had at LSU and stuff like that, and I got to see who this guard was, and he was dominant on the field. So I'm really excited about D. Lou and how he's constantly progressed. I've spent a lot of time with the rookies, you know, and he's been one of the leaders, you know, in the clubhouse in a way, in the rookie room for sure. And then, you know, you got Shell, who's, you know, coming from the Jets, who's got super long arms. He's a giant on the field. You know, I didn't realize how tall he was and how big, how long his arms were until you see him in person. He's really looks the part for sure. And the guys are super mature. They're really focused. They're ready to play. Sed coming in too as well. He looks ready to play, super athletic. I think the key to the cohesiveness is just us getting out there and practicing, though, as we're kind of going to what you were saying and asking about. I think that's going to be really key for us along this journey.
Writer Art Teal asked Russell Wilson if he'd heard about the tweet with the hashtag Let Russell Cook that's referencing opening up the Seahawks offense a little more and let Wilson throw the ball a little bit more.
Retweeted it, Art. You know, listen, I think that you know, Twitter it's a fun place for people to have fun and everything else. Listen, the reality is I want to win. That's all I really care about is going out there and finding ways to win. You know, and just constantly you know, making plays. You know, I think that for me in my career, to be honest with you, Art, is I've always wanted to be on this progression. You know, constantly growing, constantly getting better from year to year, game to game, and you know, I can say that I've dialed myself into that every single day and committed myself to that every single day. So part of this growth, and I think just where I'm at today, you know, to be honest with you, is just, you know, is finding a way to score more points and just continue to try to dominate the game. And at the end of the day, I want the ball in my hands. You know, I want to be able to make plays and give us a chance to win. And I think that doesn't always mean just me chucking around, but it does mean that you know, the more times I feel like when I get the more times I have the ball in my hands, the more things I think can happen. I think the defense worries about that too.
Seahawks will practice again today. They get Saturday off and is back at it again on Sunday through Tuesday. There'll be a scrimmage 1 week from tomorrow at CenturyLink Field. For you fans of the Seahawks, you can watch live coverage during training camp each day that they're actually practicing, thanks to Q13. It's on television at 1 o'clock, or you can go to the Seahawks YouTube page or to their website, Seahawks.com. For the first time since the COVID-19 shortened season began, the Mariners had the day off yesterday. They had played 20 straight games. They hung around the Houston area, bubbled in their hotel room at the 1/3 mark of the season so far. Let's take a look at the leaders. Rookie center fielder Kyle Lewis leads the team with a .338 batting average. He has 4 home runs to tie for the team lead with Dylan Moore. He's got 14 RBIs. It's just behind Kyle Seager. His OPS is .918. J.P. Crawford has reached base safely in 18 consecutive games. His on-base percentage is .405. He's hitting .296. Leads the team with 12 walks. Dylan Moore has an OPS of .987 to lead the club. He's tied with the team lead in stolen bases with 4 and has a .294 batting average. As far as pitching, former Apple Sox Marco Gonzalez leads the team with a 2-2 record, a 3.97 ERA, 17 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting just .207 off of him. Taylor Williams is 3 for 3 in save opportunities. Opponents are hitting .233 against him so far this season. Seattle begins a 3-game weekend series at Minute Maid Park tonight. 6:10, UC Kikuchi will take on Framber Valdez. You can watch the action on Root Sports. The entire American League West had the day off on Thursday, so the standings have not moved a bit. Oakland's in first place at 13-6. That's more wins than any other team in baseball, second only to the Cubs in winning percentage. Seattle, as you see, last place, 6.5 games back. The schedule tonight has Texas at Colorado, Battle of LA teams in Anaheim. The Angels host the Dodgers, and Battle of the Bay. It's the Giants and the Athletics at 6:45. Here's what we have on tap, by the way, for the weekend in the ever-widening world of our sports broadcasting. West Coast League Baseball from a summer ago. You can watch that tonight. Apple Sox take on the Pippins at 6:30. Tomorrow starts with volleyball. From October of 2016, East Wenatchee battle at 2 o'clock. Then it's a repeat of last weekend's racing at the windy Wenatchee Valley Super Oval at 6 o'clock. Sunday starts with volleyball again at 2, followed by the Bridge of Sportsmanship game between the Panthers and the Wildcats from October of 2016. You can watch that 7 o'clock on Sunday night. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday, the obscure holiday. Perfect treat for the summertime, especially for sweltering in the summertime. Have yourself a creamsicle today. It's National Creamsicle Day. Creamsicle is actually a registered trademark. It's one of those, it's like Frisbees. You know, everybody calls them Frisbees, even though Frisbee is a registered trademark. Same deal with creamsicles. They're a registered trademark in the United States, but they sure are tasty. I tried to make my own creamsicle one time. I figured, how hard can it be? What is it, like vanilla ice cream, little orange juice, put it on a stick, freeze it? Yeah. You got to go with the real deal. So just buy a creamsicle. Don't try to make it yourself. I'm no good at it. That orange sweet treat, the creamsicle. Sounds good about now. Well, I got to do the show first. All right, today in history, that is not a bomb. That's a wildfire. One of the biggest and most destructive wildfires in this nation's history began 87 years ago today in the Tillamook region of Oregon. They were dragging a steel cable. It was actually dragging a Douglas fir rubbed against the bark of a wind-fallen snag. The snag burst into flame and the Tillamook burn got underway. It is not fully extinguished until September 5th. It destroyed 350,000 acres of timber. That's 546 square miles of forest burned. It burned so hot and so intense that embers from the fire could be seen by ships 500 miles out in the Pacific Ocean. The incredibly destructive Tillamook burn started on this date, August 14th, 1933. Happy 85th anniversary to the Social Security Act. FDR signed the Social Security Act on this date 85 years ago today for the first time, a government pension for retired people. Here is what FDR had to say.
This Social Security measure gives at least some protection to 50 millions of our citizens who will reap direct benefits through unemployment compensation, through old age pensions, and through increased services for the protection of children and the prevention of ill health. We can never insure 100% of the population against 100% of the hazards and vicissitudes of life, but we have tried to frame a law which will give some measure of protection to the average citizen and to his family against the loss of a job and against poverty-stricken old age.
By the way, in case you're curious, in 1940, the ratio of workers to beneficiaries was 159 to 1. Today, the ratio of workers to beneficiaries, 3 to 1. I got to figure out a way to fix Social Security, which is 85 years old today. Two important dates happened on this date in 1936, two important events. On this date in 1936, 84 years ago today, the last public execution in this country took place in Owensboro, Kentucky. Rainey Bethea was hung in the courthouse, of the front steps of the courthouse there. He was guilty of rape. They could actually execute people for rape back then. They don't do that anymore. The job of actually carrying out the execution would normally go to the sheriff of Owensboro, Kentucky, but he had died 3 months earlier, and so his wife was the sheriff. And she said, I want to do it. So I'm a mother of 4. Women shouldn't execute people to begin with. She was totally against it. She said so publicly. She herself was then threatened with death by the populace. And so finally, a retired police officer by the name of Arthur Hash agreed to do the job for the sheriff of Owensboro, Kentucky. And 84 years ago today, Hash showed up to execute Rainey Bethea. He was drunk. It was a disaster. They don't do that anymore. But the last public execution in this country happened 84 years ago today. Also 84 years ago today, The Boys in the Boat. If you haven't read The Boys in the Boat, you got to read it. Stop everything you're doing and just read it. It's a fascinating book. The United States 8-man rowing crew, the famous Boys in the Boat from the University of Washington, won the Olympic gold medal. Italy, 2nd, Germany, 3rd. Robert Mock was the coxswain. Don Hume, Joe Rance, George Hunt, James McMillan, John White, Gordon Adam, Charles Day, Herbert Morris. History made 84 years ago today when the Boys in the Boat from the University of Washington won Olympic gold medal in front of 75,000 people at the Berlin Games, including Adolf Hitler himself. The United States boat is at the very top of your screen. If you haven't read The Boys in the Boat, it's a must-read. It's a fascinating read. Joe Rance is the central character, but all of the members of the 8-man crew get a lot of love. And it happened on this date, 84 years ago today. And finally, in case you missed it, we won. It's all over. World War II finally came to an end. Japan accepted the Allied terms of surrender. World War II came to an end 75 years ago today. We had to drop not 1, but 2 atom bombs. But Japan finally got the message. 75 years ago today, Japan surrendered. The war was over. Let's do birthdays to wrap up this segment. Earl Weaver was born on this date 90 years ago today. Of course, longtime manager of the Baltimore Orioles. He's inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame back in 1996, a real character. My favorite quote from Earl Weaver is he went out to argue with an umpire on a call. There was a dispute about the rules. Earl said, I'm going to check the rule book, and the umpire actually had a rule book in his pocket, and the umpire said, here, you can use mine, Earl. And Earl says, I can't read Braille. Earl Weaver, great manager, born in the state in 1930, died 7 years ago at the age of 82. David Crosby, wow, he's still kicking at 79, 2-time inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Byrds and as a member of Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. The great David Crosby, great singer, 79 years old today. He's been living on borrowed time for a long time. I love Steve Martin, one of my all-time favorite comedians. Whenever he's on, I guess got to see what Steve's up to. He's a great musician, too, great banjo player. He produces, he writes, he does a lot of different things. He's 75 years old today. Happy 75th to Steve Martin. Gary Larson. There are no photos anywhere to be found of Gary Larson. He's a very private guy. Of course, the creator of The Far Side, Gary Larson, a native of University Place, just outside of Tacoma. He's 70 years old today, and he's drawing again. Happy 70th birthday to Gary Larson. The great Magic Johnson, 61 years old today, Basketball Hall of Fame. We love Magic, a great personality, a great player, the great Magic Johnson, 61 years old today. And I can finally mention Halle Berry again because the restraining order has been lifted by the judge. Halle Berry, 54 years old today. She, of course, won the Academy Award for Best Actress for Monsters Ball way back in 2001. Happy birthday, Hallie. Gonna take a break. Mike McNally's got an opinion, then our conversation with Dawn Davies at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. We went and paid Dawn a visit a couple of days ago. You'll see that next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers one-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive, no nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
As you all know, our community is suffering under the weight of this global pandemic.
We are collaborating with regional healthcare providers and community leaders to collect accurate information on the number of COVID-19 infections in our region in order to meet the requirements for reopening.
To collect this information, we need community members to volunteer to be tested for COVID-19.
Data from these tests are vital to getting our region's businesses open again and helping us manage future spikes in infection, protecting our community members while also keeping the economy open.
Testing is voluntary and results are completely confidential. Look for more information about this testing in your mailbox.
We value your individual health and the health of our communities. Thank you for doing your part to keep us healthy and resilient.
Dr. Wayne Latimer's Integrative Chiropractic Clinic and Rehab now offers more services. If you've been injured on the job, in an auto accident, have a sports injury, call today and try his wraparound services. Latimer Chiropractic Clinic has added a physician's assistant and a naturopath to their medical lineup. From needing stress relief from a busy life to looking at core health issues, stop by Latimer's Integrative Chiropractic Clinic on Mission, where they are committed to doing more so you can too.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today, 509-663-1710.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, a cool scene in the movie La La Land, you know, that flick that was almost Best Picture a while ago. The two main characters, Mia and Seb, were dancing and singing while they're commenting on what a waste of a nice evening it was, as they weren't, at that point, romantically involved. Now, Rosie and I both looked at each other and we kind of grinned during that scene because many years ago, we were on a church trip to Israel. I was going out for a walk and I ran into Rosie in the lobby of the hotel and I asked her, hey, she wanted to come on a walk with me. Well, we ended up sitting on a dock looking at a full moon over the Mediterranean Sea, and we joked about how romantic it was and how it was just too bad that we weren't two different people romantically involved. Well, over 40 years later, I guess we were the right people after all. Yeah, I know, this is schmaltzy, but that's too bad. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
We've missed short drives to see friends, long drives to see family. We've missed road trips, car camping, heck, we've even missed commuting. We're grateful to be getting back on the road. And like always, Les Schwab wants to help you drive safe. That's why our safety-related services, tires, brakes, and alignment are on sale. Save up to $210. Swing by, because we've missed you too. Or book online at leschwab.com. Les Schwab Tires. Doing the right thing matters.
At Earthwise Pet, we take an all-natural approach to wellness and nutrition. Our professional certified groomers were trained by the best in the Pacific Northwest. Our staff here at Earthwise Pet are all certified in pet nutrition. We are here to help you select the perfect food, supplement, and anything else you may need to make sure your pet is living its best and most healthy life. Earthwise Pet, Nutrition Center and Wellness Spa. Online or in the store, we are here for you.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition.
Building. It's in our blood. Building something out of nothing. It takes heart, grit, and hard work. At One Way Construction, our crew is our family. With decades of contracting experience and our in-house design team, we bring a unique perspective to building. We know that if we work together, we are capable of reaching heights that are impossible to reach alone. The possibilities are endless.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and welcome back to Kennel Cameos. I'm Megan. No, wait a minute, that's not right. I'm Dan, the host of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Everybody knows Dawn Davies, Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. We reached out to your Development Director, Renee, a couple of weeks ago, said we'd love to come down and visit our friends at the Humane Society, because we haven't had a chance to do Kennel Cameos or even really be much in touch since the COVID-19 pandemic came to be. And like everybody else, it's affected your organization, Dawn.
It has affected us, but we are an essential business. I mean, it's not like we could just close the doors and walk away and not come back, because we have lots of animals here that need to be cared for. So yes, it's affected us. We are doing a lot of things by appointment right now. We are a little short-staffed, but we're busy at the same time.
Take me back to March. One day everything is normal, and 4 days later nothing's normal anymore, and everybody was working without a net, without an instruction manual on how you deal with COVID-19. From the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society's perspective, walk me through that week that must have been just awful for you guys. What are we going to do? How do we keep our doors open? How do we get these dogs and cats and other animals a home? How do we go about doing this in this sea of change? And how did you approach that? Well, you had to go to your board. What happened there?
Well, actually, we were fortunate in that we did a little pre-planning, watching some of the news that was going on and thinking, okay, this could happen. So when we got the stay home, stay healthy orders, we just immediately put a call out to all of our foster families in the area, the whole Wenatchee Valley area, and we cleared the shelter. There was only about maybe 7 or 8 dogs that were left here at the shelter, and those were behavioral dogs, meaning that they were here for, they were here for behavior modification to make them adoptable again. So they were not a good fit to send out to a foster home. But our foster families were amazing. They just immediately opened their hearts and their homes and took all these animals in. And one of the results of that was a lot of foster failures, because they didn't bring them back to the shelter, so they adopted. And as we're moving forward with this pandemic, we're realizing more and more that we are going to be extending the walls of the shelter out to foster families a whole lot more, because I have to be very careful about keeping the number of people in the shelter very limited.
Your staff and the volunteers, and no volunteers, no Humane Society, they have handled this crisis with aplomb and with yeoman's work, haven't they? You got some good people here.
We have some wonderful people here, and some of them have been here for a very long time. I'd say the average staff is 3 to 5 years. A couple of people have been here 20 years. And so there's a lot of stick with it kind of folks here. And there's one thing about animal control and animal welfare is that it's really hard to tell these people, you can't go to work, you can't do that, because that's what they do every day, and they live for it. They love it. And so it's been very difficult to get them to back off a little bit and just take care of yourselves, because without them, we would be nowhere.
Do you get a feeling, a sense that the animals here kind of know what's going on, that things aren't like they were 6 months ago? You think the animals can feel the change?
You know, the animals keep switching and moving. I think an average length of stay here at the shelter is about 7 to 10 days for a dog, and that's a little on the long end. Cats could be a little bit longer than that, but it's funny because no, I think that they're loving it. I think they're absolutely loving it because they're getting more staff and volunteer time to socialize. The dogs are getting out on more walks. Some of our volunteers are taking them on hikes, like up to Saddle Rock, take them on car rides. There's a lot of ways that animals can be a great social distancing buddy.
And you started a new program that was just kind of getting going before the COVID-19 hit, and that's your new quiet hour, your new quiet time for the animals. What's been your expectations on that? Has it worked now that it's kind of all quiet time now?
Right. So quiet time worked when we had lots of people in the building all the time, staff coming in at 6, 7 in the morning, started banging around and cleaning and feeding and doing what they need to do. And that would go on till maybe 7 or 8 at night. So yes, we put the quiet time in the middle of the day so that we turned the lights off, and they loved it. And we could tell afterwards that they were much more relaxed and ready for more guests to come in and see them. Now that we're on quiet time most of the time, we have lifted quiet time because our staff and our volunteers have a little bit more time to spend with them. And we also decided to close on Wednesdays. And so that Wednesdays is like 1 day of quiet time for everybody.
Which isn't a bad idea. I think I'll close on Wednesdays too. I can't do that. I would be remiss, Dawn Davies, if I didn't ask you, how has this affected the bottom line of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society? Everybody has a budget. You guys are no different. How are you doing in that respect?
Well, our adoption numbers are not as low as I thought that they might be. So our adoption numbers have actually been pretty steady. So that's, we're really thankful for that. Licensing is down a bit, but you know, it's like with everything else, the last thing you want to think about right now is, oh my gosh, I have to renew the license for my dog or cat. So donations are down a bit because I think there's just so much unknown, but basically we're pretty financially stable. We survive on donations and adoptions, you know, fees for service, but we're keeping going, and we're keep rolling on building this new clinic too.
Yeah, let's talk about that new clinic. Give me a quick update on that. This should have been at the top of my list to ask you, but we're kind of doing this organically. Talk about the clinic. What are you referring to?
So what used to be the Club Pet building, which is just north of the shelter building, we are repurposing that entire building to be a veterinarian clinic. And we have been running our own veterinarian clinic for about 5 years now with 1 vet and then eventually 2 vets. But it's out of a little tiny 312 square foot space that used to be a grooming room in Club Pet. So the board ruled, and our community has been supporting us, and we basically started construction right in the middle of COVID. So we demolished the kennels, and the framing is going up, and it will be a 4-table surgery suite. We'll have a big prep room, 2 exam rooms, a lobby. The point of this is to do spay and neuter for low income or income qualified individuals, pet owners in the valley.
Well, that's really good news. I like to hear that. I really do.
Because we have so many animals, over 5,000 animals typically that go through the shelter every year. Our veterinary expenses, of course, are very high. So bringing it in-house, it kind of helps the bottom line a little bit, but it also gives every animal here a little bit more care, because every animal gets eyes on them rather than just it's like, oh gosh, it looks like Edison here might have a cold. Let's put him on the list to take to the vet. Now somebody sees Edison every day.
So how are you doing first of all, the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is still in business. You can still come down and adopt a cat or a dog. Walk me through the process of how that works during this COVID crisis.
Yeah, so it's a little basically virtual shopping. So we're asking people that are interested in adopting to go to our website, and our website is updated constantly. So it's real time. So if an animal is showing on the website, it is available for adoption. And so we ask you to read the bio, take a look at everything. There is an adoption application form also on the website. You could download that, print it, fill it out. It just helps to make things go faster. But then you have to call and make an appointment. So our doors are locked for people just randomly coming into the building, which is hard for a lot of folks because that's what they love to do, come in and see the animals. But on the flip side, it's been really good for the animals and for the staff because they can set aside a specific amount of time for a specific animal and make sure that that's a good fit for your family.
And that's really the key.
It is. It is. We're very careful about not just impulse decisions and making sure that that's going to work. If you have a border collie at home, you probably don't want 6 cats. So
Smart move there. Smart move there. But you're still doing your personality testing. You still got your professionals who figure out that, for instance, Edison the cat here, it probably should be in a home by itself, that kind of stuff. You're still doing all of your prep work.
absolutely, yes, it's a really important piece of our mission too. Every animal is spayed and neutered, microchipped, vaccinated, and they go through a behavior assessment. And that's our recommendation. So we can say that Edison here might be a good person to hang out and maybe even chase mice or something. He might not be a lap cat because he's pretty active, but he's pretty young. But we like to have all of those notes, and we keep them all in our database so that we can talk with the potential adopter about what kind of personality this is.
What about your other brethren in your line of work here in the Pacific Northwest, Spokanimal and some of those other humane societies? How are they, is everybody comparing notes, what's working, what's not working with your other humane societies?
We are. I love that about this industry, actually, is that I have about 20 peers across Washington State, and we're always in contact with each other. In fact, we have bi-weekly phone calls, and we just catch up and say, okay, are you doing spay and neuters yet? Are you allowing public to come into your facility yet? What is your cleaning protocol? Those kinds of things. So yes, we are a very strong community of animal welfare.
What is your cleaning protocol, since you brought it up?
It's pretty intense. That is the one thing that we know how to do. So when the whole stay home, stay healthy, disinfect, clean everything, that was very, very familiar to us. So we don't really worry about disinfecting because that's what we do best. But it starts in the morning, and we use special chemicals that will kill 99.9% of anything, including parvo, which is really important. You might imagine, because you're doing animal, basically like herd mentality here. So you have to consider the whole rather than just one. So what is best for the whole environment? So everything is cleaned, disinfected every day, and then spot cleaned throughout the day, and mopped. Every time there's a meet and greet, someone comes in, especially now during COVID, everything is cleaned again after that meet and greet, so the next person can come in and feel safe.
You mentioned it briefly, and I'll mention it again. At least in the city of Wenatchee, I can't speak for other jurisdictions, your dogs and your cats have to be licensed. It's a nominal fee, but you have to do it once a year. When you first adopt an animal, that license is part of the deal. Then once a year, you have to come in and renew it. You mentioned those seem to be down a little bit. People aren't quite renewing their licenses.
Well, part of that is our own fault, because we decided that we weren't going to hassle our public right now about sending out licensing renewals. So we went about 3 months without sending renewals out, and then we sent them all out at once. So yes, we had a couple of months where licensing was down, but you know, people had enough to worry about right now that whether that licensing renewal is going to get shoved at the bottom of your pile. So,
one last question for Dawn Davies, the Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Animal control this time of year, busy, not so busy? How's the enforcement wing of your organization doing?
COVID could not have come at a worse time for animal care and control. Summer is always our busiest, and I mean, we all know that dogs in a hot car is always the #1 thing that we respond to. But you know, because so many people are staying home right now, there are a lot more telephone calls. And I would just, please, people, be patient, leave a message, we will call you back. But animal control has been extremely busy and a little short-handed. We've hired a couple of new ones, need to be trained. It's pretty hard to train and social distance at the same time.
But they're like your staff and your volunteers. I've seen them in action, your animal control people, and they're so good.
They are very good, and it's interesting. I go through the daily call log just to see what kind of things that they're responding to every day. And you can tell that it's summertime because there's a lot of hot car type situations, but a lot of dogs at large. And I wonder too, if the people are staying home, that they're letting their dogs out a little bit more, or maybe they're seeing the neighborhood dogs wander around a little bit more. So a lot more phone calls, but they are essential.
Last question, Dawn. How do we help? How can Joe Q. Public and the viewers of this award-winning program give the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society a helping hand this time of the year? What can we do for you?
I love that question. I guess my #1 answer is just we do survive on adoptions and donations in order to keep doing the work that we're doing. We do need financial support for that. So that's the #1 thing. We also have a food pantry that we do the last Saturday of every month for people that are having a difficult time. So we love to take donations for food or any kind of pet supplies, things like that.
And we sure miss kennel cameos with our good friend Megan, don't we?
We do. Miss you, Megan.
And she loves doing it too. Just like her favorite thing is to go do that. She gets to hang around and play with dogs and cats. Who wouldn't want to do that, right? Yeah,
Edwin misses her too.
yeah. Apparently Edison is an active cat. We'll give you a quick heads up on that. Dawn Davies, the executive director of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Thank you for taking time out and visiting us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And thanks for wearing a mask. I was going to shake your hand, but thank you.
Some habits are hard to break, right? You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family. Green Motion e-bikes is located right downtown on the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
At Town Toyota, we believe in our community, and we're proud to support this broadcast of local sports. Town Toyota defines reliability and value in both its products and in the dealership itself. We are home to legendary products like the RAV4, Highlander, and Camry, not to mention Tundras and Tacoma trucks. Of course, we offer service for everything we sell and a great selection of pre-owned and certified vehicles as well. So enjoy the game and visit Town Toyota for all your automotive needs.
And we're ready to wrap up this show and wrap up a week's worth of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with the weather forecast. Hot. First of all, it's going to warm up. Here, we'll just say that right there. We're going to be lower 90s today, around 92, 93 maybe for the Wenatchee Valley. Then we warm up even more come Saturday, near triple digits. Could get right around 100 on Saturday. Depends really on how cool it gets in the overnight hours as we start to climb that ladder. We're at 63 right now. And then it just gets oppressively hot. A heat wave is coming. An excessive heat watch has been issued by the National Weather Service. It starts Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. It goes through Tuesday evening at 9 o'clock. Now, it's not for everybody. It's only for the following areas. Stay with me here. Mansfield, Waterville, Nespelem, Orville, Bridgeport, Brewster, Okanagan, Omak, Conconelli, Stehekin, Winthrop, Twist, Mazama, Leavenworth, Cashmere, Antioch, Chelan, the Wenatchee Valley, Republic, Kettle Falls, Newport, Chewelah, Deer Park, Colville, Rockford, Spokane, Davenport, Cheney, Quincy, Ritzville, Grand Coulee, Odessa, Wilbur, Coulee City, Othello, Ephrata, Moses Lake, and so in those areas. It's for everybody, an excessive heat watch. Obviously, any kind of animal that has to be outside for any length of time is going to be just miserable. I hope you have air conditioning. 92, our forecast high today. 58 for the overnight low tonight. 99 on Saturday. Yep, think so. At least maybe 97, but we could even pop on up to 99. 61 for the overnight low. And then we're talking record high temperatures. I went back and looked at the record high temperatures for August 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of the upcoming day. And we're going to be right at or even above record-breaking high temperatures on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That is not a typo. That is our forecast high temperatures. Told you it was going to be hot with this excessive heat watch. This ridge of high pressure is a monstrous ridge of high pressure. It's pretty much all over the western United States. It's centered about 200 miles north of Las Vegas. It's spinning around clockwise. It's grabbing all that super hot, superheated air from the desert Southwest and shoving it right on up here to the Pacific Northwest. That's why we're going to have oppressive heat at least through Tuesday. I would not be surprised if this excessive heat watch starts maybe a little bit earlier and is extended past Tuesday. Don't know. All we know is it is going to be very, very hot indeed. Please stay cool, because I want to see you all come Monday. Wake up Wenatchee Valley, check your air conditioning, and check up on those people who are susceptible to the heat. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.